Hello, everybody, and welcome to Profit Mission Control. This is Matt. And before I close the night, I did want to share with you a little bit my nightly routine using trade ideas and how I go about finding the stocks that end up going on the launch list. I had a video in the past that I posted that explains more about the process itself, the type of stocks that I'm looking for. And I gave you a little bit of a flavor of how Trade Ideas helps me scan the market and identify those launch candidates. But I want to take you through that a little bit in more depth and just show you my Trade Idea scanners once more, and then walk you maybe through one or two of the top lists and how that is used on a daily basis. So every night I go through every single stock on that top list and every single top list that I have in my scanners, look at the chart, and then post it on the obviously process the data and then post it on StockTwits, posts on the website, and then use it to trade the the next day or the following sessions whenever those ideas actually trigger. So let me show you the Trade Ideas main nightly scanner that I use. So I think I've shared this in the past. There has been a little bit, some tweaks and some additions and some things that I've added and taken off of it, but the routine is the same. And I start going through my price alerts that triggered, and then I go through the engines on scanner, then I go through the fueling up scanner, then I go through the volume gone wild scanner, new alpha predator scanner, my gap alert scanner, shorts nervous scanner, and then shorts sweating scanner. And then here are all my intraday, some of my intraday strategies that trigger during today. I take a look at some of the stocks that came out because some of them might be potential candidates for further upward movement. These are not obviously showing a whole lot of symbols, so they're not very active these days because we're not in earning seasons. This one is more related to earning seasons, when stocks are up because of earnings that night. And then this one is more extreme low floaters that have just crossed their 200-day moving average, which nothing came up today in that scanner. And then I showed you on the other side, I have this evening scan. This one was actually put by Barry Anderson, who is the moderator for the Trade Ideas chat room. And I've modified it just a little bit to include the price range that I'm looking for stocks. But this one also is very, very healthy scanner. And you can see today it's just been insane. The fact that the market was staging all-time highs. We have so many stocks that are actually in these scanners. So on like Sunday, when I was preparing the one for Monday, it literally took me a good 3 to 4 hours between going through every stock on every single top list, looking at the chart, recording on my spreadsheet what would be my entry and exit points and the abort prices, looking at the profit to risk ratio. That process takes a long time. And I do it every night because that's kind of doing your homework. If you don't do your homework, you just jump into the market in the morning and see what's flying and all that stuff, what's gapping up, what's going down. All that is nice and dandy, but to have a solid watch list that you can have in your back pocket with the alerts set up, it takes time and it takes a lot of effort. And I do that, and I share that out because I want to prove to you, the average trader or average person who wants to enter in this area, just like me, that this is something that can be done. You just have to be disciplined about it. You have to have a process, and you have to put the time and the effort. So let's go back to the main window. So this one is the main one I go through. So this window here is the price alerts, and you can see right now every single stock that's in this price alert, actually, if you add up all the total profits since those alerts triggered, you'd have about $49.44 per share. That's profit per share. That means if I were to take, every single stock on every single alert that triggers, I take 100 shares, multiply that by 50. I take 1,000 shares, multiply that by 50. Now, obviously, I don't take every single intraday alert. These price alerts are for stocks that when I go through these scanners, and I find them that they're not yet quite ready, I just put a price alert. And some of them I use to put that stock again in the launch list, or to actually trade it actively during that day if the setup looks good. But then every night in the evening scan, I go through the ones that triggered during this session. So this will be October 2nd here, and you can see there's a bunch of them that triggered. We got about almost 10 or 11. Oh, that's not even over yet. So I have to stretch this. It's just been a crazy day. Oh my gosh. So these are all stocks that actually triggered today. And this could take me, a good, so all the way from here through here are alerts that I had put in the past. And if I expand this and just show you kind of the variety of when these alerts were created. So most of them were fairly recently. This one is like from March of the beginning of this year, March of this year. The oldest one, I think that might be the oldest one. There's one from July. So these price alerts, you just set them up and then you forget them when you look at a setup and you say, I'd like to set up if the price reaches this level, and then it will send you this alert through Trade Ideas to kind of take action on it. And in the past, I used to not put comments. Now I put more and more notes. So anyway, I have to go through all of these right now, look at the chart and see if they are worth putting on the candidate, for tomorrow. So the way I do it is, although I have these 3 charts here, I prefer to use just the daily chart as my first kind of screen, and then I might go and look at the intraday chart. But let me show you the actual chart. So I use my charting tool is Trading View, and just found it to be pretty interesting, pretty good. It's web based. There's a free version, but it's limited to certain things, and I pay a subscription. It's not that expensive, but I find it to be more versatile than Trade Ideas charts, just because Trade Idea charts doesn't give me the daily averages. They're working on that as a feature that will be added, but my charts here are not that crowded. All I have is the daily moving averages, the VWAP for intraday, and then the volume here, and sometimes I look at the RSI, although I don't really use it as an indicator unless to corroborate some theory that I might have about a specific stock. The nice thing about Trade Ideas is there's this linking, so you can link this window here, which is a window from Trade Ideas. You can link it to any other package, whether it's your brokerage package, whether it's a charting package, in this case Trading View. So when I choose my first symbol, for example, I want to go through all of these right now and then say, okay, is there a setup that is worth looking at? And again, I'm going to change the time frame here to 1 day and start from the top. So CRND, this one is, I know this is a sub penny or sub dollar stock. Look where it is. It took a long time. It got down here back in April. Continued to sink down, consolidated, broke a lot of the daily resistances except for the 200, which is kind of far away. There's about 30 cents almost to that point. Plus, it's actually at the edge of breaking through this gap area. So this stock and the volume was significant. So a stock like that, other than the fact that this is a 70 cent stock, which I tend to stop trading those recently. I haven't done that in probably a few months. This would be a perfect setup if it breaks this level, right? I mean, there's no doubt that if it breaks the 73, 70, let's say 75 cents, so that you have good confirmation that the breakout is real, the RSI is gonna extend it. But then you have an opportunity. You can pick your is it gonna go all the way to here at $1? Maybe tomorrow or the next few sessions. I'd expect at least a 6% to 10% move. So if I were to put this on my launch list, then I would say, yep, I'm going to use, CRMD will go on my launch list, trigger above 75 cents, add to that another 6%. So maybe, 10, 20, 15 cents as a profit target. And the abort would be, either an actual natural support level or just a distance from my entry point where I don't exceed a loss of more than $1,000. So if I have 2,500 shares per trade, use to lose $1,000, you translate it to how many cents that would be, and then that would probably be my greatest loss that I would put, or abort price. So that kind of explains it. I know I can't. I have to go through the spreadsheet and show you how it's done, but that's kind of the theory. So this is a good setup. CRMD is a good setup for tomorrow. If it blasts through 75 cents, there's a lot of probability that it will push through this gap area. INSY, that one I watched all day today, painfully making very, very strong move from $8.93 to almost $10. And I think after market it did break through $10, if I'm correct. Yep. So that stock here is looking very, very good. And the reason is any stock that passes the $10 mark has a special, gets special recognition by institutions and fund managers and so forth. So this would be an attractive stock. Now, the volume was very, very strong. The resistance level right now is 1025, and that's kind of where it is at the aftermarket or after hours. So I would say going back left, you have this large red candle, which kind of is a gap area. But you had the 200-day somewhere on this area, 1077. So you got a window of about maybe 40 cents as a potential profit opportunity. So would this go on a launch list? Probably. This would go above 1033, 1035 maybe, with a push to 1075 and an abort price either at 990 or at a point where I don't lose more than $1,000 on the trade. So plus the profit to risk. So there's a combination. What is the profit target? If I say that I'm looking at a profit window of 40 cents and my profit to risk ratio, I don't want it to be more than or less than 100%, 150%. So that means is the maximum loss that I'm willing to take in this case would be, 20 cents would be 200, maybe 25 cents would be acceptable, maybe 30 cents would be a stretch. But that's kind of how the thought process that I go through. Now, if it matches a natural support level, that's perfect. If it doesn't, I still stick with my rule about the profit to risk ratio, as well as the maximum loss that I'm willing to take. So anyway, this would be a good stock. And then PIRS, another high flyer today. Look at this chart pattern. If this is a perfect cup. Now it could break and continue, or it could form a handle over the next few days. The volume was above average, above all its daily moving averages. It's a picture perfect setup, and it's an all-time high. And in fact, that's why I had it on my. So I'm gonna show you here my comment on this one. Yeah, I put an all-time high. So when I set up this alert, I said I want this alert to trigger above 623, and that's kind of was an all-time high for the stock. So it did kind of reach it, but then pulled back slightly, 2 cents. Obviously, this is a potential candidate above this breakout area here, maybe 635, to give us kind of a confirmation that the breakout is real. And then your profit target is whatever you want to choose. Obviously, something conservative between 3 to 6%, maybe closer to 5 to 6% for a stock that's $6. So that's a very potential good setup. ASB, and right now I'm just walking through these, kind of sharing with you what goes through my head as I am picking these stocks. I'll have to go actually down and write all these down and put my launch and profit targets and stuff like that, but that will be after I'm done with this video. So ASB, this one I had a price alert set up at 24.52, and it broke that. I'm not sure why. I think I just liked the pattern, so it broke the 200-day moving average. That's probably why. So this one kind of looks very attractive now. A lot of eyes are going to be on it. It filled this gap, so it has a choice to make, either to continue higher or maybe to pull back and then retest this gap fill again. So this one, I mean, it's certainly worth watching. And sometimes what I do is, let me show you on Trade Ideas again. So if I go back to here and just show you this chart here. So this orange line is where that price alert triggered, right? So it triggered right there, right at this wick here. Now I can simply just stretch it up a little bit, move it up maybe to 25 level, so that it gives me another. So basically reset the alert and said, and this is telling me that now I'm going to pay attention closer attention to it if it breaks $25, right? Because that means it's confirmed that it's not gonna pull back below the 200-day moving average. It's coming up maybe to this resistance level. It's got a 30-cent window above the 25. So that's why I set it back to 25 to remind myself to take another look at it at 25. All right. Another one here. Let's see what else we got. So that price alert disappeared because I'm only showing you right now the ones that are triggered. So since that one had triggered and then I changed it, it disappears from this list. It goes to as working, set as status of working. And I want to make sure that I don't confuse you. These price alerts have nothing to do with the launch list alerts that, once I pick my stocks and I set the entry prices, I create a separate alert system for that through my brokerage account that sends me a text message once that price is hit, and then I enter the trade. So Trade Ideas helps me with the scanning part and with the price alerts of certain setups that I'm kind of monitoring. I could create my alerts within Trade Ideas specifically for the launch list, but then I'd had to put my comments and say this is a launch list alert, and I have to explain why, compare it to the other ones, other alerts. So I just rely on my brokerage system because it actually sends me a text message to my cell phone, and if I'm not at home, I'm at work, I'm somewhere else, I can get that alert and execute a trade as I need to. So back to CACSC. So that one is a stock that also I had set up an alert above I think it was above clearing this level here, and it did. It pulled back to it again. It's kind of trending sideways, so yeah, there might be something to it. Volume is not that strong. It's okay, but not very strong. So I would say for now, this probably wouldn't go on my launch list, but then with the market right now, everything seems to be moving up. So you got to be, choosy or picky about what we want to choose. PFSW, there's just another example here where the stock is starting to uptrend a little bit, maybe closer. Next opportunity is going to challenge the 9 level, 9,952. But anyway, you get the picture about what goes through my mind. This is just one window of trade ideas that I go through. Like I said, everything that triggered today, and then if there are good candidates, they go on the list. If not, I just can them or reset the alert, or or just delete it altogether. Again, ARLZ, this one is very, very, very strong. I'm suspecting that we put this one on a prior launch list. Well, it doesn't have a profit window, so it doesn't. Usually, if there's a stock that was on a launch list, I could tell because I put on TradingView a profit window that has the green, red, and tells me where to enter, where the exit is. But this stock looks fairly interesting because it just broke the 200-day moving average with very, very strong volume. It's curling up. It stalled at 270. So I had charted this before. I think if it breaks 270, we've got a good window here of at least 60 cents. So somewhere in that you could potentially take opportunity on. FLXN. This one, I had it actually, let's see, was this on the launch list, or it had some of these? I think it was, yeah, it is on our I know what this is. So this one I did put on the launch list for September 22nd, and then it departed so much away from that opportunity, so I took it off the active launch list, the things that are waiting for launch. And then look what it did today. And actually I did get an alert on it on my cell phone, but I was busy with other trades. But this one broke through and made our profit today. Had we traded this, it would have been perfect. And if you're curious about that, let me show you something else here that I typically don't show you, but I gotta go to this screen here. So this is one spreadsheet that I actually captured the launch list where I start putting my so kind of, this is a list of stocks that are currently waiting for launch, but I also have an archive no launch. These are stocks that just like the case of FLXN right now, I had in my they went on the launch list, but they never triggered, and they kind of, the pattern started breaking down, so I take them off. So every week I go through that, the stocks that are kind of never triggered and also kind of departing from the entry price, I just remove them and put them somewhere else. So I put them like in this spreadsheet. So if I go back here, ARLZ, I don't see it recently, especially on the 22nd. So that means it has been on the, go back down here. It must have triggered, and then can't remember if it was a loss or not, but I don't see it. So I guess my point is to explain to you kind of the logic, how I go through these. So if I were to spend the next 4 hours making this video, I would go every single one of those, look at the chart, and determine which ones I can add to the launch list. So that's one window, right? That's the price alerts. Let me pull that back here and pull another trade ideas window. And again, the nice thing about trade ideas is with the linking, there's you can click from any window. So I'm going to pull this engines on window here, which is not a lot. Well, I take that back. Oh my gosh, look at that. today was, I've never seen so many stocks in this scanner for a very long time. So yeah, I mean we're in some crazy market that maybe is looking for a bubble to burst. So that bubble hasn't occurred yet. I think we still go higher, but then be careful when it does burst. This is a huge amount of stocks. This has never happened before. But anyway, you get the point here. This is ordered by relative volume. So today, this the highest stock, this was 21 times its normal trading volume. RIGL. Look at this green candle here, approaching resistance levels in the 347 area. So to me, this is not yet ripe. But if I were to put on a launch list, I would say it would be above this level here at least. It would need to break this level with good volume, maybe even this level, because if you look left, there's this candle here. So we need to break even that level. I would say 357, which is 20 cents away from where we are today, to push to there. So given that the true range of the stock, in general is not that strong, except on these crazy days like today. You never know. I mean, there might have been news today on the stock. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't be my top pick. For a stock like that, this is where I would go in Trade Ideas and put a price alert. And if you go and show you kind of here in Trade Ideas, there's the window for that. I already had a price alert at 261, which must have triggered today. But then I also have another alert at this level here at 414. So right now, what I can do is, well, it triggered and it gapped up. I can move this all the way up to this level here. So I would say, like we said there, 357. 353, 357 area. So that would be a new price alert for me that I would potentially pay more attention to as it pushes through towards maybe here we'll pull this down to 397, by about $4. So that would be a good window of almost 40 to 50 cents. Now there's a lot of small resistances on this area here, but I guess I babble too much right now. So anyway, going through that list, again, it's impossible for me tonight even to put a launch list because there's just so many stocks to go through. But there's a lot of opportunities. ACRX. Sometimes if you double tap on two rows, it messes up the linking. But when you look at ACRX, holy smokes! It was one of those stocks that just gapped up and went higher today. We traded this in the past, obviously. Took profit on it. ACOR, I'm just looking at the dark green ones, which represent more. That one also ripping through Accordia. So why isn't that one? Looks like it used to be a former candidate. Why is that one not on our list? Unless we launched it and failed it, but then it came back and blasted today. JP, but again, if you're curious about where the stocks come from the launch list, they come from this scanner. This is one of the scanners, so that's why all these stocks look like that. They're uptrending and they're above the daily moving averages, and they're kind of, some of them breaking through either all-time highs or very old resistance levels. JP looks beautiful. I have to go all the way back left to see. So obviously this is a new stock. This is an all-time high. Must have had an IPO around this time frame in August of last year, and it's making all new highs. So anyway, plenty of opportunities. The point is today is just to show you how painful but how rewarding it is to go and do your homework, identify the stocks, think about where they can launch and where they can go, and then you wake up in the morning, you're ready to go, you know what you're going to trade, you have an exact plan, you act on that plan, and you respect your abort prices, and you will turn out to be a profitable trader. So that took me so long to reach that level. It took me so much failures until I reached this kind of discipline, and there's nothing that would prevent you from actually achieving that as well. So I can't go through all this. I just wanted to give you the gist of this video, is to show you some of the Trade Ideas capabilities, some of kind of share with you what I go through every night, daily homework wise. It's not an easy task by any means. Now the market is super hot, so that's why there's so many stocks to go through. During the summer months, any of these scanners would probably not even have 10, the most 10, 15. So this is my second scanner that I look at. It's called Fueling Up within the 5 days. So this one is kind of staging an upward momentum in the last 5 days, sort of, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a upward momentum, but it could be a reversal, or it could be there's a recent uptrend here, but it's not clearing all the time all prior resistances. So it's still a good scanner that gives me good ideas. So this is SLB Schlumberger. It's an oil company. I think these have been on my scanner for the last few days. But then this, I've had already marked this as potential areas. As an example, all these are oil companies. If you notice, Hess Gas, same pattern. The whole oil market is starting to rebound. There's a 200-day moving average. This may not be the most attractive. Halliburton is actually an active stock on our launch list, and there's the profit window there. This one looks like a better pattern because the resistances were far apart and far away. So this is an active stock on our launch list, waiting to trigger. CRCO is also an oil company stock. MRO, Marathon Oil. So it's funny that this scanner is picking up all the oil stocks right now. MRO looks interesting above $14 with a potential 30 cents move to the 200 within this red candle. So it's coming up on an important test, and I'm sure it's going to remain in the scanner if it continues to go up higher. WLL, another petroleum company. FMSA, this one is not, I think this is something else, but showing up the formation of the right side of a cup. CHK, Chesapeake Energy, that one I think I looked at in the past, and I said, yeah, not a lot of opportunity there. So a lot of these you'll see levels of resistance and support that I've marked in the past, that I've looked at and maybe decided not to. So ASNA, it's kind of trending sideways, and it's got a gap to fill, but once it fills that, I'm not sure what's going to do next. So anyway, going through these stocks, these just thoughts and ideas about how to use Trade Ideas to do that, and kind of other interesting scanners that I look at is this one. This one is a huge one, the volume gone wild, and again, it is a wild day today, so the list is fairly significant. So these are stocks that have more than double the average daily volume. You can see this list is all the way surprisingly oh, that's not the one. The biggest mover today was I don't see it even on the list here. I'm not sure why, but anyway, so this one provides a lot of good candidates as well, as long as the chart looks nice. So this one is only looking at volume, so the volume could be just a special case during this day. which means that the chart may not be the most beautiful. So I don't just. So Strax was one of our former launch list candidates that triggered today. It looks like it gapped up and went higher and never looked back. ZGNX. That's a crazy one that keeps going up higher. ABUS. So with that, I guess I'm gonna kind of cut it off here. I just wanted to share with you some of these thoughts, and again, if you're kind of interested in trade ideas, I showed you back over the weekend. If you go to the website, profitmissioncontrol.com, you'll be able to see I've created a special page for trade ideas only, and that one is called Trade Ideas here. And then from there you can get all the information about the packages they have, how much it costs per month or per year, whether you get the standard and the premium, and what options are available in each. And then here's the button to click to go and sign up if you're interested. There's also a free newsletter that they provide every week. It's called Trade of the Week, and the performance of these is just basically one stock. Every week they send out a newsletter that tells you about one stock that you could swing long term. It's intended for long-term swinging. So if you just sign up, you don't even have to buy the software or whatever. They will send you a fairly interesting trade idea every week that you can use for your swing portfolio if you need to. All right. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it here. If you liked the video, please give it thumbs up. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. And I will talk to you later.